Beautiful white slippers.
Yeah, high tops for the winter.
So, where's he go from? St. John?
St. John,
You
go
go there.
to Market Street, yeah. And you go to Hampton, Tim Hortons. Go back and that's it.
Then he's off to Sherbrooke.
I got the video on, so he does.
All right.
Okay.
Actually, one.
There's the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. News conference, mainstream media. Personally, I'm honored to be here behind the scenes. Good, they got more RCMP here. Yeah, that's all over this. Can't trust nobody these days.
They trust you?
Oh, yeah, I mean, look at all the people.
What's the dance photographer guy with the beard? Yeah, it's,
I know it.
yeah, it's also.
I know this. C'est incroyable de voir en arrière ce qu'il va.
Du monde.
Hey, ça,
Oh, is that right?
But interesting enough, his dad's a good friend of mine. Bill McCarthy.
here he goes.
Well, then he's, there you go.
Bonjour tout le monde, très content d'être à Fredericton aujourd'hui. Glad to be in Fredericton. Looking forward to your questions.
Thanks. It's Adam Garris with the New Brunswick Telegram Journal. NB Power, New Brunswick's crown utility, has warned that the premature closure of the province's coal-fired plant will result in rate increases of 38% if it has to find baseload capacity without financial help from Ottawa. Ottawa has pledged financial help, but can you promise that the phase-out of the Belgian plan and the implementation of a price on carbon won't impact power rates?
First of all, thank you for the question. I had a good conversation with Premier Gallant about this this morning and other issues in which we emphasized the great working relationship between the province and Ottawa on this issue and a broad range of issues. And we're going to make sure that the phase-out is done appropriately and responsibly in a way that both meets our commitments around climate change and also ensures that New Brunswickers and indeed Atlantic Canadians don't get unduly impacted. That's part of why at the center of our plan for a national pricing on carbon pollution, we are ensuring that the provinces keep all the revenue that comes in from carbon pricing and ensure that it can be returned to the people who are most vulnerable and in most need of extra support as we make this transition towards reducing our use of fossil fuels. Sorry, there's a question. There's a mic right there.
I have a follow-up too. New Brunswick received a record number of immigrants in 2006, slated to do the same in 2007 with the addition of a new Atlantic pilot project. But retention rates of newcomers in New Brunswick have been amongst the worst in the country. What is Ottawa's role in ensuring that immigrants don't head to other provinces at first opportunity? And if retention rates don't get better, will you pull the Atlantic project?
Well, we've recognized the challenges and the opportunities around immigration to Atlantic Canada as part of our Atlantic growth strategy, which is focused on 5 main themes: skills development and immigration, infrastructure, innovation, climate change and clean growth, and finally, I did them out of order, so now I'm skipping on the last one, which is It's a broad range of issues that obviously are going to strengthen our communities in meaningful ways. We need to not just bring immigrants in to Canada, but we need to give them opportunities to succeed. And obviously, the economic impact on communities across New Brunswick and across Atlantic Canada are very positive to welcoming people, but we need to make sure that we're creating the jobs and the opportunities for them to succeed. And as that moves forward, we need to continue to monitor our success and ensure that we are creating the growth that people in Atlantic Canada need by bringing in good people from around the world.
Prime Minister, good morning. This has to do with Mark Norman. There's such a cloud of secrecy surrounding this case. This was the military's number 2, and he was relieved of duty without any explanation. Can you tell us today what Mark Norman did? Don't Canadians deserve to know? And can you at least confirm whether or not the RCMP is investigating?
The Chief of Defence Staff took a decision, and this government supports General Vance in the decision that he took, and I have nothing further to say on this at this time.
How concerned have Canada's allies been about a possible security breach stemming from this?
We continue to engage with our allies on an ongoing basis to demonstrate the seriousness with which we take issues of security, because it's essential for the cooperation, the collaboration that we have, not just with our Five Eyes allies, but indeed with partners around the world. And we have an excellent working relationship with them and continue to reassure them and work with them to make sure that we're living up to the high standards we expect of ourselves.
Monsieur Trudeau, vous dites que la carte est une formidable. Alors, combien de fois êtes-vous allé sur son
Comme j'ai dit, c'est une vacance privée, une vacance de famille, personnelle. Et je suis en train de répondre aux questions que la commissaire à l'éthique a pour vous à ce moment. Je continue de répondre aux questions de la commissaire à l'éthique. Je connais la vacance depuis que je suis très jeune et je continue de répondre à toutes les questions de la commissaire à l'éthique.
Vous avez déjà un rendez-vous avec elle ici?
Mon bureau est en train de travailler avec son bureau pour organiser les prochaines étapes et les réponses à ces questions.
Good morning, Jacques Perrin from CBC News. First, a question from my CBC colleagues about grassy narrows. Your office has put out a statement that the federal government will act effectively on this. Does that include a federal role in the cleanup? And if so, why now when the answer's been no before?
We are obviously ensuring that the Mercury Compensation Board moves forward in a responsible way, and we're working with the province on resolving this issue. My government is committed to ending boil water advisories across this country. We move forward on 14 of them already. We have many more to do in the coming years, and continue to work with partners like the province of Ontario to deal with water issues.
And on the carbon tax, you just mentioned earlier that the idea of returning revenue to the people who need it most. In this province, there's no plan for general tax cuts to make it revenue neutral, and the province is emphasizing spending it on programs. So how will that affect people's pocketbooks if they're paying more and not getting some back elsewhere?
The issue we have on the federal side is to ensure that revenues collected from the pricing of carbon remain in the province that collects them, and it'll be up to the provincial government to determine how best to help people through this important transition.
Michel Corriveau, Radio-Canada, Fredericton. J'ai une question sur le projet Énergie Est. Je comprends qu'il va y avoir des audiences qui vont reprendre, mais j'aimerais voir votre position. Pensez-vous encore, avec le projet dans l'Ouest canadien, Keystone peut-être va ouvrir vers le sud, est-ce que c'est encore viable d'avoir ce projet-là? Est-ce que c'est encore possible?
C'est pas une question pour le gouvernement fédéral, c'est une question pour le processus. Et c'est exactement les genres de questions que nous allons discuter, dont les Canadiens vont discuter, dont les gens vont, sur lesquels les gens vont se pencher dans les prochaines années de processus pour le projet de l'éoduc Énergie Est.
Comme vous le savez, le premier ministre du Nouveau-Brunswick, Brian Gallant, défend fermement ce projet, tout comme l'opposition ici au Nouveau-Brunswick. J'aimerais savoir, vous, est-ce que vous êtes sur le même pied là-dessus?
La responsabilité du gouvernement fédéral là-dedans, c'est pas d'être un vendeur ou un vendu à un projet en particulier. On est là pour assurer un arbitrage, une façon un processus rigoureux pour évaluer le projet, pour regarder l'appui, les préoccupations, pour prendre une décision sur comment procéder. Le gouvernement précédent passait tout son temps à essayer d'encourager les oléoducs plutôt que d'écouter et d'établir un processus rigoureux. Nous préférons ce processus rigoureux et nous allons le permettre de continuer.
Prime Minister, good morning. Harry Forrestal from CBC Television, found the right mic this time. Can you give us one example? You've had several of these town hall meetings now. Can you give us one example of a policy you're willing to change or modify because of what you've heard from voters gathered at this town hall?
A number of them. Obviously, a number of the issues that people bring up are issues that we are very aware of and need to work more. I mean, the compelling stories of veterans or of the Phoenix pay system challenges are certainly something that is further motivation to continue working on things that are important to us. But for example, in my very first town hall in Kingston, an individual rose to talk about the transgender community in correctional facilities and how there's a need to think through how we deal with transgender Canadians who are incarcerated. And that's not something that was on my radar. I think it was something that was probably on public safety's radar in general, but certainly making sure that we move forward in a way that is fair and responsible and consistent with our values is really important. So having someone highlight that directly to me as an issue that I and most Canadians, quite frankly, probably hadn't thought of is exactly the kind of example that I'm happy to highlight and to move forward on.
You mentioned the Phoenix pay system. Do you have firmer numbers on that now? Because the last time you talked about that at a town hall, you were criticized for not having the right numbers.
Oh, we actually talked about the fact that the backlog of Phoenix, which had been up in the 80 to 100,000 backlogs, was down to 8,000 in terms of the backlog preceding the summer. There have been more cases brought up since, and we're continuing to work on those. But people understand that this is something that this government finds unacceptable, and that we're working very, very hard to fix. And the folks just down the road, Mayor Michie, are doing excellent work in terms of making sure that people get paid for the work they do. It's something all Canadians expect, and they have a right to expect it, and it's unacceptable that this is continuing to be a problem. Thank you.
A quick question for my colleagues in Ottawa. What response have you had from Stéphane Dion to the job offer you mentioned last week?
I've had some good conversations with Mr. Dion over the past week and a half, and he's continuing to reflect on the significant responsibilities we're proposing to him as we engage with the world in responsible and thoughtful ways to realize the opportunity and the challenges that Canada is facing in its global leadership.
Last question.
Hi, Keith Doucette, Canadian Press. President-elect Donald Trump spoke again yesterday with the need to put a stiff tariff on imports going into the United States. As you know, Canada is a major sender into the U.S. market, and our collective livelihood depends on that continuing. Beyond shuffling the deck chairs, what measures can you take to assure trade flows and prices will continue as strong as ever?
We are very much engaged with the incoming administration on these issues and others. We're focused on having a constructive working relationship with the new administration, and one in which we highlight the depth of integration and connectedness between our two economies. Obviously, there are millions of Canadian jobs that depend on the U.S. market, but there are also millions of American jobs that depend on smooth integration and flow back and forth across the border of goods and services. In fact, 35 different American states have Canada as their #1 export destination. So we are very confident that with our similar mandates to grow the middle class, to help hardworking Canadians and Americans, we are going to be able to find common ground to ensure that both of our economies prosper in the coming years.
And finally, Trump has refreshed his criticisms of NATO, and now the chair of your own Foreign Affairs Committee is suggesting Canada needs to meet Trump's challenge and raise its contributions. Do you agree with this assessment, and will you see a big funding increase coming soon?
Canada is broadly recognized among NATO partners and indeed in the world as a country that is always there when there's heavy lifting to do, when there's a need for people to step up. Canada is there on the front lines contributing fully to NATO operations. Indeed, us stepping up as a framework nation in the Baltic states, taking the lead in Latvia in Eastern Europe is a great example of how Canada continues to be an extraordinarily important player in NATO, and we will continue to be a reliable partner, not just to the United States, but to all of our allies as we move forward. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Good to go. See you, Charles.
See you, Andrew. Don't feel bad. So, don't feel bad. Don't get discouraged. What do you want to ask him?
I was going to ask him if he knew about the blogger.
What were you going to ask him?
I was going to say, have you heard about the blogger? Because he's here. He made it in the building.
Yeah. So what were you going to ask him?
I was hoping you were going to ask him.
No. This is my first. No. They asked me if I want to be
people, though, right?
They asked me when I came in, do you want to be media or do you want to be a citizen? I said, well, it depends.
I asked that a lot.
Yeah. So then they said, if you're a citizen, you're going to sit down. If you're media, you could go around. I took media. So what's the question you want to ask Trudeau?
Oh, I don't know.
Come on, you were lined up. What are you going to ask him?
I was hoping maybe we could talk about getting a selfie like everybody else, right?
What were you going to ask him? I'm giving you the opportunity to share your question. They cut you off. They stopped before you.
I would like to. I would like to talk about that Phoenix payroll system. I know that came up today. But it was something that was asked of him as well. So it was okay. It's not a real big deal.
Oh, good. Good experience, yeah. I get the hell out of here.
Did you have fun today, though?
Yeah, it was different.
Learning experience.
The mic.
Okay. Oh my God, I tell you, that's what I should have my picture taken for that.